On the news tonight, Dangote Group of Companies compensates families of those who lost their lives or got injured in the Afo UMUCHU fatal crash. Experts call for revitalization of mental health facilities in public hospitals to address increasing depression in the society. Federal High Court Abuja orders INEC to issue certificate of return to former Imo State Governor Okorocha. And on the foreign scene tonight, African Union suspends Sudan over Monday clash with protesters. Emebere Ugunna. Dangote Group of Companies has issued checks worth more than 10 million naira to affected persons in the Afo UMUCHU fatal accident occasioned some time ago by one of its trailers fully loaded with bags of cement. The checks were given to the beneficiaries at the office of the Anambra State Deputy Governor, Government House Oka, when the group alongside some of the affected persons paid him a court's visit. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo tells us more.
Dangote Group of Companies paid the compensation to the beneficiaries through a representative of NEM Insurance PLC, an insurance company engaged by the company to settle damages caused by any of the company's heavy trucks across the country. Speaking, Governor Obiano, represented by the deputy, Dr. Nkemo Keke, commended the group for deeming it fit to compensate the affected persons, unlike before when the company's drivers are known to run away from accident scene, leaving their victims to bear their losses alone, and encouraged the beneficiaries to judiciously use the money given to them, though no amount of money can replace their lost loved ones or properties. Governor Obiano, while pointing out that the Dangote company's heavy-duty trucks have damaged a lot of roads in the state, called on them to devise means of giving back to the state, saying that the state is also one of the major customers of the company in the country in terms of cement and other products.
Accidents do happen. My happiness is that cases of these type of accidents in the past. Sometimes these accidents happen and nobody cares. People just go about their business. But I'm happy the way this has turned out. It says a lot about the company, the Dangote Group and the insurance company.
According to the special advisor to the governor on medical supplies and facilities, Dr. Vincent Opala, through whom the state government facilitated the payment of the compensation, 3 persons died in the accident, while about 7 persons received different degrees of injuries, commending the group for cooperating with the state government on the issue, and reiterated that the Obiano government will continue to ensure that things are rightly done in the state, especially in cases that concern the citizenry. Earlier in his speech, the representative of the insurance company, Mr. Kolawole Latif, appreciated the state government and the victims of the incident for amicably settling with the company without involving the court of law, and consoled the affected persons, especially those that lost their loved ones to the incident.
Based on our own commitment to identify with the family, we sent our own team down here to come and meet them, to discuss with them. With the help of SA, we have been able to discuss with all the family members informed, and we have resolved.
In their separate interviews, UMUCHU youth leader Mr. Vitus Ike and one of the bereaved persons, Mr. Valentine Ononuju, who lost his father to the incident, appreciated the company for keeping to its promise and thanked the state government for pursuing case to the end.
Na Hagabia, Chukwuemekwanu, Habia, sympathize there with the victims.
Well, I also thank you. Respond.
From Government House in Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
And away from that, youths have been challenged to be realistic and engage themselves in purposeful ventures that will serve as a starting point for them to survive any situation. The Chief Executive Officer and founder John Bosco Onunkwo Foundation, Engineer John Bosco Onunkwo, gave the challenge during a youth forum tagged The Conversation 2, held at Oma Event Center. Our correspondent, Gini Osadebe, completes the story.
The Youth Forum, which was organized by John Bosco Onunkwo Foundation, in collaboration with Good Governance Ambassadors of Nigeria, GUGAN, Anambra State Chapter, with the theme Rededicating Our Youth to Rediscover Their Roots, attracted youths from the 21 local government areas of the state. Addressing the youths, High Chief Onumpo stressed on sincerity of purpose, unity and humility among the youths, while underscoring determination and commitment as the key to success. He advised them to shun depending on others, rather be prepared to make a move by improving on their business acumen, and promise to support any youth with good business proposal.
We have over 180 million Nigerians, and 180 million Nigerians are looking for concepts. If you have a good concept, people will key into it, and before you know it, sky will be your starting point. If you watch most of the people, the participants, some of them we are watching with keen interest. I know we cannot achieve it 100%, but I can tell you over 40% of people who are here has keyed in, and some of them has asked me questions, taking a lot of numbers, and they say they have to call themselves a meeting and go back to the drawing board.
In their separate speeches, some political stalwarts in the state, Senator Uche Kunife, Ambassador Elijah Anambra, and Chief Basil Ejidike, described the forum as a remarkable gathering, as it will go a long way in improving and empowering the youths, while urging them to remember that nobody owes them anything. Rather, they should deprive themselves their comfort zone for them to succeed in life. In his keynote address, the founder and chancellor, Tansen University, UMUCHU, Very Reverend Professor John Bosco Akam, represented by his special advisor, Mr. Harrison Mmadụ-Adele, described the gathering as apt, considering the state of nation, where youth restiveness is the order of the day, which, according to him, is a great threat to global peace. Resource persons at the program, such as Dr. Chiweta Onora, a psychiatric consultant, took the youths on suicide, its causes, how to detect someone with suicide tendency, how to prevent it, and its consequences as it affects the victim's family. Prince Samuel Adukwa, a business consultant, exposed them on the topic current trends of entrepreneurship and sources of funds available to the youths, while an agriculture consultant, Mr. Chukwudozie Alotu, exposed the participants on the topic understanding snail farming and business cassava productions and processing. Musical interlude added color to the event. Emengino Sadebe, ABS News.
Oh, years back, suicide was seen as a taboo in this part of the world, especially in Igbo land, where serious sacrifices are offered for deities for cleansing a family or families whose relative indulged in the act. But today, suicide seems to be people's way of life, especially among the youths, who often see such as the best way to end the sufferings and challenges of life. In this special report, correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo seeks people's opinion on the causes of high rate of suicide in contemporary society. His report
could be described as the act of taking one's life, either by hanging or consumption of deadly substance, among others. According to statistics, the number of people who dies by suicide has continued to rise in this part of the world, and their reasons range from hardship and hunger, frustration, among others. Speaking on the development, the vicar of St. Paul's Anglican Church, UMUCHU, Reverend Canon Uchenna Umifekwem, regretted the continuous rise of suicide cases in today's society, identifying pride, hopelessness, lack of trust in God for a better tomorrow as some of its remote causes. Reverend Canon Umifekwem further highlighted bad leadership and unemployment amongst youths as other major causes of such an ill action, saying that in order to minimize or eradicate such, leaders will learn to address problems bordering the subjects, and governments must create job opportunities for youths.
Psychologists have said that depression is the major cause of suicide in the society, because somebody taking his own life. It means that that person is despondent. It means that all hope is lost. It means that that person has tried within the best of his ability to make sure that he better a particular situation that he finds himself, but is not forthcoming.
The General Superintendent of Redeemed Covenant Church, Oka, Pastor Kenneth Mozie, attributed it to deterioration of family values, as according to him, parents no longer inculcate right attitudes and belief in their children, as their business or work is now more important to them than their family responsibilities.
Family system is one of the issues, the failure of parental failure. Then you come to the society at large. The value system has been distorted. So we are giving the youth these days the impression that money is all things. And when some of them cannot get money, they feel that is the end of their life.
On his part, the head of Psychology Department in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Professor Harry Obinwosu, who is also the head Psychological Services Center of the institution, observed that less attention is given to mental health in Nigeria and made a case that as health is in the recurrent list, state governments should give more attention to primary health and psychological centers should be provided in all general hospitals for mental care of the citizenry, as according to him, mental imbalance could lead to suicide.
We need to address health the way it should, not just physical health, but also mental health, and understand that if we do not attend to mental health, physical health may also suffer.
Also speaking, an Awka resident, Engineer Gerald Dulu, called for aggressive campaign by the government and the media against the act to discourage people from seeing it as a way to end problems, saying that no problem or challenges of life is worth dying for.
Suicide is not a solution to life challenges or problems. For this reason, let us boldly face our life challenges and problems, hoping and trusting in God for a better tomorrow. I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
The new Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Professor Charles Simone, says he will promote the highest standards of academic excellence, community service, and administrative reforms that will position the university among the topmost universities in the world. He was speaking during his installation as the 6th Vice Chancellor of the university, held at the University Auditorium in Awka. The event, which also included a book launch, Translating Vision to Reality, Professor Joseph Ahaneku is Vice Chancellor, attracted members of the academic community from across the country. The University Governing Council, the Obi of Onitsha, Igwe Alfred Achebe, a representative of Ezuzu of Awka, Obi Gibson, were also members of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, St. Joseph's College, Cameroon, Old Boys Association, traditional rulers, friends and family members. Education correspondent Theophilus Okoha completes the story.
The event was heralded by special prayer by University College of Priests for the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahaneku, and the incoming Vice Chancellor, Professor Simone.
The voice of angels from heaven surround.
Professor Simone, while thanking the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahaneku, for transforming the university, said he will use the commendable achievements on ground as launch pad to further advance the university. He said there will be zero tolerance to plagiarism, sexual harassment, and inducement, and that a mechanism will be put in place to identify culprits and punish them accordingly.
We're going to build staff quarters using private-public partnership, and the first beneficiaries will be all our junior staff. They will now live on campus. We're going to build more student hostels, especially postgraduate hostels. They will be constructed to the extent that we can accommodate at least 70% of all our postgraduate students and at least 50% of undergraduate students on campus.
Earlier, while handing over and installing the new Vice Chancellor, the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahaneku, expressed delight on the peaceful transition and selection of Professor Simone as the 6th Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, describing him as the backbone of his administration.
As the sitting Vice Chancellor and transferring the goodwill and good wishes for the growth of Nnamdi Azikiwe University and the growth of humanity to my successor, the 6th substantive Vice Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Professor Charles Okechukwu Esimone.
Speaking while reviewing the book on the tenure of Professor Joseph Ahaneku as Vice Chancellor UNIZIG, Professor Frederick Odibo said the book highlights the remarkable success of the outgoing Vice Chancellor in bringing to fruition the vision with which he sought office and the boosts he gave to the development of the university infrastructure and administration. On her part, a former Minister of Education, Professor Viola Onwalere, commended the outgoing Vice Chancellor for the teaching teaching and learning mechanism he injected into the university and expressed optimism that the new Vice-Chancellor will key into the achievements to move the university forward. Later, in an interview, the director UMUCHU FM, Professor Stella Okonna, and Professor Carol Umobi, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Administration UMUCHU, expressed delight on the peaceful transition to a new administration in the institution. Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
The former Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Amuka, has commissioned and handed over flood and erosion project executed by the member represented on the North and South Federal Constituency, Honorable Linda Ibazu, in collaboration with the Ecological Fund through the Office of the Presidency. The event, which took place at Mbono Ejike Street Figure on the South Council area, attracted the State Deputy Governor, Dr. Nkemo Keke, and other dignitaries from Onitsha North and South Federal Constituencies. Correspondent Gini Osadebe completes the story.
In his address during the ceremony, Professor Amuka pointed out that the projects were designed to check flooding and gully erosion menace in the area to bring relief to the residents, and commended Honorable Linda Ibazu for attracting the project. Professor Amuka, who also appreciated the friendly environment provided by the state government and residents of the area during the project execution, charged the residents to cherish and protect the project by shunning indiscriminate dumping of refuse to ensure sustainability.
We further consolidate on the gains of this giant stride. The federal government's execution of the project across the country also demonstrates the sincerity of the purpose of the present administration towards inflating justice, equity, and fair play all and sundry.
Speaking to the ABS in an interview, the member representing Onitsha North and South Federal Constituency, Honorable Linda Ibazu, stressed the need to ensure that the drainage channels are kept clean to avert erosion menace in the area. Honorable Ibazu promised to attract more road construction and reconstruction, as well as other laudable projects that will impact on the lives of the people of her constituency positively, while calling on the residents of Onitsha South to be alive and responsible in protecting the projects.
All the roads have been done. If you look at the drainage, we don't have a lot of trash, and that's going to create a lot of problem again. We don't want to have a situation where we keep desilting, keep cleaning up.
On his part, the President General Onitsha Improvement Union, Sir Chike Ekwogo, called for the duplication of the project in all parts of Onitsha, while urging the residents to shun any act that could jeopardize the project.
This place clean. Otherwise, the reason for building this thing will be a waste. So the guy will go because they get you in the where they was.
A representative of Ikporo Onitsha, Mrs. Ngozi Okabue, prayed God to bless Honorable Ibazu for her numerous projects across Onitsha, especially in the area of empowering the women and youths. Reacting to development, some residents of the area, including Chief Mike Ojiako, Chief William Exaya, and Honorable Sylvester Okafo, said they are overwhelmed by the development, adding that since their stay at Fege, they have not witnessed this magnitude of project execution of 8 roads at a time. They called on other representatives, both at federal and state level, to borrow a leave from Honorable Ibazu. Emengino Sadebe, ABS News.
Well, moving on to our national stories now. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately issue the certificate of return to immediate past governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, as the senator-elect for the Imo West Senatorial District. Justice Akona Bang made this order in his judgment on the suit filed by Okorocha to challenge INEC's decision to withhold his certificate of return after he was declared the winner of February 23rd election 2019 National Assembly election in Imo State Senatorial District. INEC has based its decision to withhold the certificate of return on the grounds that its returning officer who presided over the election complained to it that he declared the results under duress, but the judge who described INEC's action as lawless and arbitrary held in that Okorocha, having been declared the winner of the election, INEC no longer had any legal authority to withhold the certificate of return due to him. The judge awarded a cost of 200,000 naira payable by INEC to the plaintiff and awarded 100,000 naira payable to the plaintiff by each of the other 7 defendants to the plaintiff. A total of 900,000 naira cost is to be paid by defendants to Okorocha. Well, on business news tonight, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the country's merchandise trade report, with trade rising by 2.5% from 8.04 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of last year to 8.24 trillion naira in the first quarter of this year. The NBS said this in the report, which was obtained by newsmen, given a breakdown of the 8.24 trillion naira figure. The report stated that the country recorded total exports of 4.53 trillion naira, while import trade was put at 3.7 trillion naira. The development, according to the report, resulted in a positive trade balance of 831.6 billion naira during the first quarter. The report stated that the country's exports trade was dominated by crude oil exports, which contributed 3.37 trillion naira, or 74.45% to the value of total exports in the first quarter. Further analysis of the report showed that Nigeria exported mainly mineral products, which amounted to 87.1% of the total value of exports. Tonight, the African Union AU has suspended Sudan's membership days after the military launched a brutal crackdown on protesters that killed dozens of people. The AU Peace and Security Department said in a post on Twitter, revealed that Sudan's participation in all AU activities would be suspended with immediate effect until the effective establishment of a civilian-led transitional authority, which it described as the only way to exit from the current crisis. The announcement followed an emergency meeting by the AU in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, after the violent dispersal of a protest camp in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, began on Monday. At least 108 people have been killed and more than 500 wounded, according to the Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors, CCSD, while a health ministry official was quoted as saying the death toll stood at 61. Sudan's pro-democracy leaders have vowed to continue their campaign of civil disobedience until the Transitional Military Council, TMC, which has ruled Sudan since longtime leader Omar al-Bashir was overthrown in a coup in April, is removed and killers of protesters are brought to justice. The Sudanese Professionals Association yesterday has led people to block main roads and bridges to paralyze public life across the country in retaliation for the military crackdown. And on sports news, 4 Dutch football fans who threw concrete slabs at Tottenham supporters when violence erupted before their Champions League semi-final against Ajax have been jailed. Spurs and Ajax fans clashed before the match on April 30. Marvin Kerkhoff, Stefan Trump, Fad Amri, and boy Patrick Calvin Fox, all from Amsterdam, pleaded guilty to affray and were jailed for 20 weeks. 3 Met police officers were injured when they tried to break up the brawl. Wood Green Crown Court had the disorder started on Tottenham High Road, where a fight broke out between the 2 groups of supporters who launched glass bottles, bricks, and concrete slabs at each other. A man was struck on the head by a glass bottle and suffered a fractured skull and bled on the brain. And that's it on the news tonight. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV Online. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. And just before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our top stories. Dangote Group of Companies has compensated families of those who lost their lives or got injured in the Ibu UMUCHU fatal crash. Experts have called for revitalization of mental health facilities in public hospitals to address increasing depression in the society. Federal High Court Abuja has ordered INEC to issue a certificate of return to former Imo State Governor Okorocha. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that the African Union has suspended Sudan over Monday clash with protesters. And that's the Science World package tonight. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I'm Ebere Ugonna.